Okay, so let's get into it. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Joseph Morris live stream. If you're new here, hi, how are you? I'm Joseph Morris. I'm a true crime case discussion channel on YouTube who is doing a deep dive on Prince Andrew's case just because it is the gift that just keeps on giving. The moment I think there's no more stories, the moment there's like five new ones. And the momentum on this case is just building and building and building. And I love to see it because it keeps my YouTubing career alive. And so if that's for you, please make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss a live because I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and press like. Unfortunately, on my last YouTube live show, the chat was lost because I actually had a copyright ID claim on my last one because I play a lot of different clips. And when you actually edit out a small segment from your live, it gets rid of the chat. So I really hope you guys enjoy the chat while it lasts. It's right here. And honestly, this case is new to me. I know that sounds crazy because it's been going on since like 2008, but this case is brand new to me and I am learning so much. I have a corrections corner actually. The Falklands War, I saw people in my last video basically getting a little bit angry with me that I downplayed the Falklands War, and I would like to apologize for that. When I did my research for the Falklands War, I didn't realize there was like a lot of casualties for it. So I understand it shouldn't have been downplayed the way it was. I just think I was a little bit biased because Prince Andrew, that's his claim to fame with the military titles. You know, he did the helicopter there, and obviously it was a big scar on the British military. And I apologize for that. I did some more research on it. And, you know, it was a serious event. Even though it was an undeclared war, it was never officially called a war. It was a war nonetheless, by all stretch of the imagination. A lot of casualties. And also the fact that it was declared a war zone. But I just honestly thought it was like, why are they out on the Falklands Island? That doesn't seem like a true war, but it was. There was a lot of casualties. Let me just read your chats here. How am I looking writes, this case is evil. Jingle Bell writes, love your voice. And I love you guys being here. Jeannie M, thank you so much for being an awesome mod. I really appreciate that. Kathy Lee, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications and share. Danielle River in writes, oh yeah, enjoying the chat here. Exactly. And I love the chat too. Except sometimes when I do an edit, if there's an issue with my video, the chat is left. So I'm going to try to be reading your chat as much as possible. But if you guys have any sort of comments and you're watching this at a later date, please make sure you leave a comment down below because I actually do read your comments and I actually do follow up on a lot of what you guys have to say because, you know, this case is new to me and there's a lot of speculation. People are saying, oh, this case is evil. There's a lot of evil in this case. And I would have to agree. And there's so many layers to this. I mean, I learned about Savile, who worked for the BBC, who was an announcer, who also had these allegations similar to Prince Andrew, and just how the BBC protected him to a certain degree. This is all information that I'm learning as well. You know, a lot of it is from the 80s. And obviously I wasn't alive then in an adult form. So, you know, I really appreciate everybody chiming in and I can learn a lot from you guys as well. So thank you so much for being constructive and keeping it fun and engaging. And, you know, please make sure if you want to hang out with me and my dog right here, Gabby, you can by hitting subscribe, ringing the bell so you never miss a live. And cool, Karen. Hope it pops on YouTube. How am I looking right? Oh, Nadia, I'm going to read your comment right here. We have almost 50 centimeters of snow here in Ottawa. Karen Vickers. Hi, Joseph from Ohio. Thank you so much. Alt writes, greeting from Scandinavia. A major topic would be pandemia, corruption, and cover-up. I have watched documentaries, etc., and vaccinations are not safe. What is going on is going to be huge news in coming years. Exactly. So I really appreciate everybody letting me know how they feel about certain things, and obviously looking into them is kind of my job. So I really appreciate that. Thanks for all your comments. I'm going to be talking today a little bit about something that I find kind of really fascinating about Prince Andrew is how weird he is. Like, he's a weirdo. Like, so when he assaulted Virginia Jeffree, he used a spitting image marionette to do so, to like touch her with this marionette version of himself. And that's creepy. But then more creepiness comes to light when you realize he actually has a stuffed animal collection. Yeah. And this is so weird. Apparently, in his mom's house, which is the Buckingham Palace, he had stuffed animals that had to be arranged in a certain way on his bed so that he can go to bed at night. And there was about 60 stuffed animals. And there's actually a diagram that goes along with these stuffed animals that he wants them to be arranged how he wants them to be arranged. Otherwise, he will have a tantrum like he's a child. And we're talking about a 61-year-old man. I think that's his age, 61. But it's just very bizarre. It speaks towards his immaturity. It speaks toward his arrogance. It speaks toward him not taking responsibility. And I mean, that has really come through in all this case, even just with the Virginia Jeffree lawsuit, how he tried acting like he never got the lawsuit. Then he tried saying it's out of jurisdiction because she's Australian. And then he's saying Jeffrey Epstein's settlement covers him. And I just want to give a shout out to Nadia Hussein. Thank you so much for the super chat. Keep it up. Exactly. I will keep it up because I love it. I love this case, you know, and I think a lot of the media is trying to divert us from talking about this case because Prince Harry and Meghan have security issues. And I feel like that's kind of taking the spotlight away from what's actually going on in the monarchy, which is huge scandals, including this man-child, Prince Andrew, with his stuffed animals. Mary Briggs writes, he has a mama complex. I agree. Jill, stop. Is that really the pic he sent to his servants? Jill writes, okay, so this is from the Metro News, but not as you know it. Interesting. So Prince Andrew would shout and scream if maids messed up his teddy bear collection, and he had a diagram of how he wanted it done. Apparently, according to some accounts, it's been 60 stuffed animals, but here I only see 5. And how Andrew wants his teddies arranged. So there's a teddy with a necklace that he wants beside him, hippo in middle, a blanket, which is weird, Black Panther to the right, gray hippo, 3 pillows that says Daddy Ducks Prince, and then a teddy holding a heart. So the caption reads, Royal insiders have revealed the exact layout of Prince Andrew's bed at Buckingham Palace. So I guess like if you are a royal servant, you have access to a lot of these private rooms and you can dish all the dirt on it. And I guess this royal servant is a legend because they showed exactly how he wanted it arranged. And if I'm kind of looking at this, it's a little weird that he has a pillow called Daddy next to him. And I really wonder how Sarah Ferguson feels about this because they still live together. And I don't know, it's a little weird, right? It's a little creepy. A sketch shows exactly where a teddy bear holding a heart, 2 hippos, a Black Panther, and 3 cushions with Daddy, Ducks, and Prince on had to be placed. An insider told The Sun, it's hilarious a Prince of England would want his teddies on his bed. You can imagine him crying, Mommy, they haven't put the hippos on the bed. So it is, maybe there were presents from his daughters or Fergie, but it's still strange. Yeah. I mean, it is a little weird to be 61 years old with a bunch of stuffed animals arranged in your bed. And this isn't the first story I've heard about this. There was also the Prince Harry mangoes incident where apparently Prince Andrew would freak out about his mangoes. Prince Harry shocked when Andrew barked at staff to get his mangoes, royal chef claims. So this guy, he's really entitled. He's really spoiled. He's very immature. And we're all seeing the true picture of him. Let me just read your chats. Yeah, the pillow is weird. Alt Del Alt writes, thank you for saying hello. Really nice. And thanks to Joseph for interacting with people on this chat too. Very good atmosphere. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Palm Trees and Sand writes, YouTube won't block nobody. Joseph is telling what is in the news and discussing with us who he liked to speculate. Jill writes, I hope they televise the court hearing between Andrew, Duke of Pork, and Virginia. Nadia writes, I heard about the mango. Christina Susie writes, if my child called one of her toys daddy, I'd be calling a therapist. Exactly. So it is kind of weird to have daddy embroidered on a pillow and then you're like holding it close to you at night to keep you warm. It's a little strange. No wonder this guy is single at 61. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I saw somebody with a bunch of teddy bears in their bed, I would go to the door real fast. But let me just get into my next article is the Jubilee. So I'm going to be real with everybody here. I didn't even know what a Jubilee was until recently. So the Queen's Jubilee, if I'm reading this, it's Monday, February 6th, and she has been serving as queen for like 70 years. So I'm a little bit tired of hearing about the Jubilee, but apparently it's because she's serving 70 years as a queen, and this is going to be her platinum Jubilee. And it's just to mark an anniversary of how long the reign of Queen Elizabeth happened. So right now, this is coming up in February, and Queen Elizabeth had a lot of issues last year in terms of, her husband dying. So it is kind of good news that she is getting celebrated, and I'm happy for her. It's just kind of coming at a time where, there's so much scandal in the royal family, and God save the Queen. And the scandal I'm talking about right now is obviously the Prince Andrew scandal, but it's also the fact that there's a bunch of issues with the security as well. So as you know, the security with the family is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle both want to come back to the UK, but because Prince Harry stepped away from royal duties, they're now saying, you can't have security because of you stepping away, and Megxit, as they say, you are cut off from royal security. And this actually happened while they were in Canada during the coronavirus epidemic, and they realized they were left high and dry in a foreign country without any security. So they actually had to move to LA and live with a friend who provided them with security. And they since have their own security now in LA, but they do want to go back to the UK. And I think it's because obviously Prince Harry is from the UK. That's his hometown. And he can't get the proper security to go to his hometown. So he's actually saying, I will pay for it myself. And the UK government is saying, well, your private security isn't good enough. So he comes back and says, well, I can hire the Met Police, the Metropolitan Police. And a lot of people have issues with that because then all of a sudden the Met Police becomes an agency you can hire, which is not supposed to be. And obviously the Met Police, I think the argument is they offer better protection than private security can. So it's problematic that he can't get his security and he can't go back to the UK. So he is actually, the rumor is, according to reports, he's suing the royal government because of their inability to provide him with protection to visit his hometown. And I don't know which side you guys are on, but this just sounds wrong on so many levels, because if I'm going to play devil's advocate here, I'm going to be reading your chats. Actually, I'm curious to know if I'm getting this all wrong, because I'm on the side of Prince Harry right now. And I know a lot of people in the Daily Mail comment section is not, but I'm going to read what you guys have to say. Christina Susi writes, my high school is called Prince Andrew High School. I hope they are talking about changing it after all this. Nadia Q. writes, we paid security for Harry and Meghan at the beginning, like $1 million when he was stripped of his prince things. Then Trudeau decided that we will not pay for them anymore. Thank you, Nadia. Janice King writes, he doesn't need security. He's not important enough. And that's the thing. Does Prince Harry need security? Is he considered low risk? I mean, he did that Oprah Winfrey interview with Meghan Markle where there was claims about racism, and then there's people all up in arms over that because now that the royal family is called racist over the skin color of Meghan Markle's baby, who, by the way, is very white looking, just throwing that out there. I'm like, whoa, like the baby has like ginger hair. Anyway, it's just like now they have to step up their security. And because of that reason, the royal family needs to, because obviously allegations of racism causes them to be a target, because we're not having that in 2022. And obviously that hurts the monarchy and people are very angry about that. So people are saying, well, we need to step up our security with those sort of controversies. And then also people are saying that Prince Harry is low risk, which I thought he would be high risk, considering everybody in the Mail Online comments says that he is bringing such shame to the royal family. He's bringing such problems to it. He turned the back on the queen. So I don't understand why he's low risk. I don't really get that, because I would actually think he was high risk. Let me just read your comments. You've got it wrong about Harry. He chose to walk away. He is low risk for security unless he does work for the monarchy. Racism is a ploy, Bobby writes. Falcon Hoof writes, and let's not forget Harry was told any time he came home for family reasons, he will still be protected as his family already have it. Jean Dixon writes, the royal family has always been racist. Jenny P writes, Joseph, there are rumors that Harry met Meghan through Prince Andrew. It said maybe she was a yacht girl, Jenny writes. That is interesting. I've heard that rumors many of times on this channel. But here's the thing that a lot of people have problems with the security issue. Okay, so Princess Anne doesn't get full-time security and her protection officer was shot. Prince Harry is told Met Police is not for hire, as ex-royal cop warns he can't pick and choose when he wants to come to the UK. So he's having issues right now with people basically saying that his issues are too low. And I read this in the chat too. So let's play this video because I want to hear what this guy has to say.
And it's been decided in this level, one, that they won't supply him with protection because the risk at this stage is deemed low. However, should there be a risk when he comes, then clearly, as you've said, Richard, the Metropolitan Police would be duty bound. It is alleged, and I'm no expert now in what they do decide or not, because I'm not party to it, but clearly, it has been reviewed in the same way as so many other royal security have been done.
Wow. So that guy seems to be very adamant that his risk is low, but I would think it was pretty high considering all the scandal against him. But people are basically pointing out the differences between how Prince Andrew and Prince Harry are being treated. Obviously, they're both not HRH anymore. But the weird thing is like, why is Prince Harry cut off from security, but Prince Andrew is not? It is a little weird. And some people are pointing out Obama's kids get security for a long time Secret Service. Michelle Bobala writes, Miss Black writes, I'm in the UK and I don't blame Harry. Everything in the papers about Meghan was negative. Him coming back definitely sounds like royal duties to me. Maybe they are trying to show a united front. Exactly. And this is what...
And it's been decided in this...
Sorry about that. This is what one of the Omid Scobie writes. And apparently this is like a PR person for Meghan. But they're just pointing out how Prince Andrew still has securities. And then obviously... Prince Harry doesn't. And the reason for that is because the Queen was forced. So Meghan Markle's trusted journalist friend Omid Scobie today claimed the ring of protection around Prince Andrew from the royal family had been confusing. Mr. Scobie said the threat to brand Windsor and the family business had finally forced the institution's hand after the Queen removed his honorary military roles. And of course, that was very hard for the Queen because Prince Andrew is the favorite son of the Queen Elizabeth. So it was up to the public to basically, show that this is wrong and you need to teach your son some responsibilities by removing his HRH as well as his military titles. But here's the thing, he's still being referred to as Prince Andrew. He's still a prince. And he's also still the Duke of York. So I think she needs to take this a bit further and remove those titles as well. And also remove security just to be fair here. And I think in my personal opinion, what Prince Harry did was worse to the royal family than what Prince Andrew did was worse to the royal family than what Prince Harry did. So here's another article. Prince Charles invites Harry and Meghan to stay with him in the UK in the hope of meeting Lilibet for the first time, sources claim. But the Sussexes' refusal to return without Met Police protection puts reunion in doubt. So Prince Charles obviously has not seen Lilibet because they moved to LA. So he's willing to help with this. So Prince Charles has invited Prince Harry and his family to stay with him in the UK in the hope of meeting Lilibet for the first time at Emerge tonight. The Prince of Wales is yet to see his granddaughter face to face after she was born in California in June last year. The offer, which would be the first time the family have fully come together since Harry and Meghan decided to quit as working royals, was made just before Christmas, according to the Mirror. However, his son's refusal to return without a substantial level of security from the Met Police is said to have put the reunion in doubt. So this is interesting because it's basically showing that Prince Harry is the one kind of being hard and saying, I need protection by the Met Police, but obviously he can't get protection from the Met Police because he's no longer serving the royal family. So I think this person explained it well. Let's listen to it. And I'll be reading your chats.
Police or let's say the government want to subcontract their close protection services to people, then they've got to clearly define what that actually means. Is it just the royal family? Is it diplomatic protection? Is it former senior military officers? Where does it stop? Now, if an individual is willing to pay for it, which I understand that's the compromise he's come to, then okay, well, actually what you're paying for is the people stood around you in the vehicles. You're not paying for access to intelligence. You're not paying for briefings. You're just paying for physical protection. And then we get into a really dangerous area where the government then becomes a subcontractor for anyone that wants to pay for protection.
I see.
If you ignore royalty, just say anyone that can afford it can buy it. That's the dangerous point.
Yeah, so it is kind of like Prince Harry demanding MET to be the one providing him with protection. So it's very confusing and I don't really quite understand it, but basically he is potentially suing the royal government over this. So I'm reading your chats. I want to say thank you so much to B10 Pow for your super chat. Dave Brown writes, sure, look what they did to Diana. We should not be surprised how they treat Meghan and Harry. Hypocrisy. Ireland. Thanks, D. Brown. Laura Nolan writes, they want to go back to London. Exactly. So my whole thing is, You know, why can't they just be getting the same protection as the royal family? Is it really just over the fact that they don't have the royal duties? Is that the reason why? Like, to me, it just feels like it's more of a bureaucracy thing, and they should just stay at the Buckingham Palace and share the security they have there. And the whole issue would be them getting from the airport to the Buckingham Palace. But I mean, just suck it up and the Queen should just get the Met to protect them up until that point. And I just don't really understand I think if anybody's being hard here, it's the Queen, but I could be wrong about that. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Falcon Hoof writes, look over there. Is that Prince Harry without the men in black? Bonita, exactly. So I personally would think Prince Harry was high risk, but hey. Good morning, Joseph. I love your channel, Vanita writes. I love you guys. Miss Black writes, Prince Harry need protection as he is still a royal, whether they want to remove him, his title or not. Harry left to protect his family, knowing they done to his mom, Miss Black writes. And exactly, that's it. So I played a clip on my last live where Prince Harry was talking about how he wanted to protect Meghan Markle because he actually dealt with Princess Diana dealing with mental issues. And we all saw how that ended up for her. So he didn't want to replicate history again. So he got the F out of the royal family to protect his family. And so this is where I'm kind of at a loss, because I think if anybody's being hard here, it's Queen Elizabeth not offering him royal protection. And it's just kind of feeling a bit petty because, hey, you turned your back on me and now I'm not going to offer you protection. It just kind of feels petty to me. And, you know, you already have the Met Police protecting your butts at Buckingham Palace. Why not just sign another person up for that for the period that they're going to be visiting? It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if I'm getting this completely wrong, if there's more to it, but I think it's all just one big giant distraction from the other scandals that are taking place at the Buckingham Palace. I'm going to be reading your chats right now as well. They could meet at the airport. It's a secure location. Duh, exactly. Snoopy Doe writes, "Hail to the Queen." It is a secure location. I'm not really getting it. But into my lead story,
government want to.
We have this story that just came out this morning. So Prince Andrew's ex, Lady Victoria Hervey, says Ghislaine went fishing for Epstein to find girls to entertain his powerful friends. In first look at tonight's ITV documentary. So this is going to be on tonight. I'm going to be covering it on my channel, so I hope you guys are subscribed. Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend, Lady Victoria Hervey, today claimed Ghislaine Maxwell was used her as bait to entertain Jeffrey Epstein's friends, saying he kind of sat back and sort of waited for her to sort of go fishing. The 44-year-old socialite and former it girl, who is daughter of the 6th Marquess of Bristol and the Duke of York's former love interest, first met the pair 20 years ago and said she was really young and naive at the time. ITV released a clip of tonight's show, which also featured Lady Victoria describing Maxwell and Epstein as like as like Batman and Robin in a double act. So let's watch the clip. But it is interesting that Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend is now speaking out. And I wonder if this will be used in court for Virginia Jeffree, showing that Prince Andrew knew what was going on behind the scenes with Epstein. And because that's a defense they always use. I didn't know that Epstein was this huge criminal that trafficked underage women, but who knows? Maybe this could be used against him in the Virginia Jeffree court. Let's play the clip. I'm going to be reading your chats as well.
Jeffrey was really the front man and Ghislaine was the accomplice. You know, it was kind of like a Batman and Robin, and they were a double act. I don't think Jeffrey could have done any of it without Ghislaine.
And Ghislaine was crucial to getting those girls, was she, do you think, to those dinners?
I think he just kind of sat sat back and sort of waited for her to sort of go fishing and go find however many girls were needed, you know, to entertain his friends. I think I was pretty much used as bait, you know, looking back at it. You know, I was like really young and naive, and, you know, she's entertaining these, you know, big businessmen. So, you know, I didn't realize it, of course, at the time, but looking back.
Yeah, so that's interesting that Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend was being used to recruit more women, because that was the thing about the Epstein thing, was that he was, you know, using all these other attractive young women to draw other women into their web. And it is kind of very suspicious that Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend was one of those women. And Prince Andrew will most likely be using this as a defense for him. He's asking Virginia Jeffree to provide mental health records to basically call her crazy and gaslight her, to show that she is misremembering things wrong about their relationship. And, you know, I think that's very problematic, because you have a doctor-client confidentiality, and to use that someone's mental health against them is very patronizing and not a great defense, in my opinion. And also, he'll be using as a defense, Virginia Jeffree also helped recruit other women for Epstein, that she was a part of this pyramid scheme to recruit other victims, and that will potentially be used as a defense. So I really hope that Virginia Jeffree sees this and sees that Prince Andrew potentially turned a blind eye to, you know, other women being trafficked in front of him, because there is evidence that Prince Andrew knew about the trafficking of these women. So I'm reading your chats. Looking at the UK drama from a foreigner's perspective, Alt writes, Harry and Meghan are not the ones who bring the most shame on the monarchy. Andrew and Charles during Diana days are doing it. Monarchy, not okay. Thank you for that comment. And I agree, because I don't know about you guys, but Prince Charles, I think, cheated on Princess Diana and was
Jeffrey
hooking
was
up with
really the
Camilla.
frontman.
So I think Camilla could be queen next. So if I'm looking here, Camilla, yeah, she's the controversial figure who may actually become queen. This is the person that Princess Diana and the prince was having. Prince Charles was driving a wedge in their relationship, because Camilla was eventually the person who was breaking up their marriage. And now Camilla could be queen, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how people in the UK feel about that, but I'm like, I just think it's such a shame. And I wish it was Princess Diana. And I think Camilla had a lot to do with Princess Diana's downfall, if the allegations of cheating are true. I don't want her as my queen, to be completely frank. I just don't know who she is. So it is interesting that this woman was used as bait, and this was an ex-girlfriend. And it would be interesting to know if she was being used as bait by Ghislaine Maxwell while dating Prince Andrew. Like, was Prince Andrew somehow a co-conspirator in the Epstein trafficking as well? Honestly, when I saw this photo at first, I thought that was Paris Hilton. It's not. It's Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend, who's coming on record saying that they used her to recruit other girls. And it is interesting that this is what has gone down. She writes, girls would feel less intimidated and scared rather than a man. It would have been a less obvious in that respect. So Lady Victoria confessed she felt used by the duo, but added she had a fun time. She said, I was so naive. People in my situation that were really young, of course, we were going to get taken advantage of. We were just a pretty face to have entertained people. I was one of the lucky ones, and I'm aware of that. End quote. She said she had no idea that anything was amiss during parties with the group, saying, quote, besides the situation of having a feeling there were video cameras in the apartment, it was social gatherings and dinner parties. It seemed very fun at the time. This is in the early 2000s when no one had... Oh.
But you're more interested in your YouTube fans, so I hope they tip you enough to deal with my emergency.
Okay. So I have an emergency situation, and I really hope everybody here had an enjoyable live stream. Please make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so